This is the Defenders podcast on TV Podcast Industries, and we're discussing our Ironheart podcast wrap-up and announcing the winner of our MIT Student Bar Pub Quiz for the season of Ironheart.
I love what I do. It's a calling, you know. There's rewards every day, but I'm rambling. I just love my job, you know. I do. And if we work together, with your once-in-a-generation mind, and then my skills, you're capable of building something iconic.
Welcome back, fellow Defenders, to our Ironheart podcast on TV Podcast Industries. We're here discussing your final Ironheart feedback and wrap-up, as well as announcing the winner of our MIT Student Bar / Pub Quiz. I'm one of your hosts, John.
It's been a couple of weeks and John forgot how cool our theme tune is. I'm one of your other hosts, Derek.
And rounding out the group and strongly suggesting, no, it's not that cool, I am Chris.
You don't like our theme, Chris?
I like it, I just don't think it's cool.
I think it's fun. And we got our first ever comment on Spotify about Ironheart saying they love our intro and outro music. They didn't say anything at all about the content of the podcast, though, so I'm not sure. Maybe they just like the music.
That's fair.
It is Spotify, after all.
I guess, it follows Gatecrasher Greatest Hits Volume 1 and Volume 2 quite nicely, I think. Or it could be the ham between the Gatecrasher bread.
It's just supposed to be techno magic. That's all it was supposed to be. That's what I searched. And it worked. But more importantly than the music for the episode, because we've talked about that, I think, more than the show at this point. Chris is back.
I am.
Welcome back,
Thank
Chris.
You. Yes, great to be back. Unfortunately, I was sucked into another dimension at the bottom of a candy store, and I was left there for a while. It just happens.
Absolutely.
That's what happens.
One of the best scenes in the second half of Ironheart. Yes. But you did cover the first 3 episodes with us, Chris. So we'll get to hear your thoughts about the rest of the season of Ironheart as we get through the podcast, though. So I'm really excited about that. It's part of the reason why we've been holding off our coverage of this wrap-up of Ironheart is because we wanted to get Chris on board. It would have been a pretty light show otherwise, because we've only got the 6 questions this time for our pub quiz. So we would have been pretty light on things to talk about if Chris wasn't coming back. So we held off, gave a bit of extra time to our wonderful fellow defenders to send in their answers to the question and a couple of bits of feedback from them as well. So
yes, but I think we should delve on in to this episode of Defenders. Just to give you a heads up, we will of course start with the questions and answers of the pub quiz, and then of course we will discuss the last bits of our fellow Defenders feedback on the season, as well as any additional thoughts from our very own Christoph, in particular for the remaining 3 episodes that he was absent without leave on.
The big reveal, the special guest star that we told Chris about, that was coming up in episode 4, that he had absolutely no idea who she was. I want to know all about it, Chris, as we get through the episodes. But let's kick off with our MIT Student Bar Quiz questions and answers. John, episode 1, take me home. What's the question?
Yes, episode 1. What is the name of the Hood's base of operations? It is Desperito's Pizza, the restaurant where, the quite nice looking restaurant, which was used quite heavily by the Dark Lord Mephisto himself for a quick pizza as he travelled to, Earth.
And as always with your questions, you can tell that we put the questions together when we watched the episode the first time, because Desperito's was one of the major locations for the show. It turned up almost every single episode. So if you didn't get that right, you probably shouldn't be answering the quiz.
Yeah, but, if you didn't... shame on you. Moving on to episode 2, which was called Will the Real Natalie Please Stand Up? We asked the question, what flowers are destroyed by Joe McGillicuddy? And the answer was Black-Eyed Susans, not Black-Eyed Peas. Black-Eyed Susans. Black-Eyed Peas is a totally other thing.
Yes, you shouldn't be growing those in your garden, especially on display in the flower bed.
Indeed.
Do you remember the time when that character was called Joe McGillicuddy?
Yes.
For split 2 episodes.
For a whole 2 episodes before he came back as Ezekiel Stain. Yeah.
Exactly.
A big reveal, wasn't it, Chris?
It was. And I enjoyed that reveal. And
it was.
For me, it's always a big one where it was, I think, Ultimate Universe? No, it wasn't. It was one of the later Iron Man post the kind of extremis armor, where you had Zeke Stain come back, and again with his full what he becomes in the end of this show, and it was so good in the comics. And as soon as we found out it was him, I was like, having that actor play this character was a good idea. He kind of does have that roguish charm, if you want to call it that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why he played Han Solo. Yep. He's very cool seeing Ironheart here, and getting that chance to play both of those types of characters as well. The 2 characters I felt were completely different to each other. Eventually, when he got his hands on that mantle of Zeke Stain, he really just filled that part out of being the bad guy, and then being controlled towards the end of the season as well. Good fun to have him in there. But that's the answer to episode 2 question. On to episode 3 question for the episode We in Danger Girl. The question was, how many greenhouses are off the central atrium in the Heirlum HQ that the Hood and his team break into? The answer for this one was 5, and the reason we asked the question was because one of them had exploded, and it looked like there were 4 when the camera panned back, so we thought that might trick a few people out on the question.
Indeed. Ooh, naughty us. Naughty defenders.
Exactly.
Yes, on to episode 4, Bad Magic, where we asked the question, what is the name of the realm that Zelma transports Riri, Ronnie, and her mum to? The answer was the Western Cortex of Neverish.
It just sounded like something out of a Terry Pratchett novel.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I really like that name, and that's the character that we were talking about, Chris. We were recording with Chris on the first 3 episodes. We'd seen the 4th episode, and Zelma's a character from the Doctor Strange comic book, so we were really excited to see her appear in the show, and hoping it wouldn't get spoiled for fans of Doctor Strange. And Chris was kind of going, "Oh, who's this character? Is it going to be fun to watch?" And we were like, just tell us what you think when you see her. And I think you didn't realize it was a comic book character.
No. I have now downloaded Strange Academy from Marvel Unlimited because they did say, do you like this character? Check her out. So I have...
Excellent.
I have prepped my backlog of Zelma to find out some more. But good character. Hope we get to see more of her. Especially maybe in one of the newer Doctor Strange kind of films. We do know he has to go off to the dark dimension again with Clea, so maybe he has to bring someone else with him.
I think just Zelma and America Chavez as well would be really nice little team up there, I think. Cool. With Spider-Man zooming in as well, as possibly bats floating around, and Doctor Strange. I think that'd be a great combo.
It would be cool. Yeah. It'd be cool. Yeah. And a great setup for the first episode of Strange Academy, which we hope is going to eventually come. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, there's talk that she'll be in the Champions or the Young Avengers, whatever they're calling it now. I think it's closer to be more being the Champions than it's.
I think that's the speculation, just because the first Young Avengers character was introduced about 7 years ago as an 18-year-old, and they're getting close to 30 at this stage. So
not really that young.
Exactly, but apparently there was a post-credit filmed for Ironheart where we would have had Miss Marvel pop into the show to welcome her into this new team that she was building, this new 3rd Avengers team or 4th Avengers team, if you've been keeping up with the movies. So, but that was taken out of the show because of how long it's been sitting on the shelf. So we had a different post-credit scene in this series. But it would have been nice if this had come out a year ago or 2 years ago. We would have had a very similar post-credit scene that we had with Kate Bishop and Miss Marvel meeting up to form a team.
Yeah. Moving on to the next question from episode 5, which was called Karma's a Glitch. The question was...
Name of the season.
What does White Castle advertise that the home team Wolfpack get for free? And the answer is cheese sliders.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea about this.
I guess Wolfpack's the local American football team, the kind of college team or baseball team or whatever.
Yeah.
Of basketball team, fishing group.
Because what your sports team really needs is some cheese sliders to keep them healthy. Yeah.
It's kind of like that Who's Got the Beef Arby's bit. It's just like cheese, meat. Yeah. You got it.
I guess so.
I mean, I guess, young athletes, metabolism like a nuclear reactor, so, I guess melts off them.
Probably.
Intended.
Yeah, probably. That was the episode that had the big battle in White Castle, Chris. How about that one? What was your thoughts on that big battle?
This was the fun one, especially because she was out of armor for so long. Riri, and again, you do see her hold her own against the other tricksters a fair amount.
Yep.
Then
using her smarts,
seeing her go against Zeke and lose badly. This was a fun one because it was a split second where we do think Zeke is going to probably just like kill her. Like it's not going to because she is the title character.
Episode 6 of Ironheart, featuring everybody other than Ironheart. She's dead. The funeral of Ironheart. Yeah. It's probably not something you're going to do.
Could be one way of Mephisto bringing her back. It's not going to work. Okay.
Well, she is going to hell. Yeah. She did sell her soul by the end of the season. So
but yes, so it was a good battle. It was fun to watch as a whole, and seeing that flip scene where she was running and then gets caught by her suit. Actually, one thing we will quickly mention: did not expect to see as much suit as we got. Across every episode of this. Yeah. Like, every episode had a pretty good suit scene. In some form or fashion. Like, some of it was just kind of like sitting in the corner tinkering, but it was still great.
And I know we talked about it, I think even in the first couple of episodes, that there was a practical suit built at times as well. So it wasn't just all CGI, which probably cut down the cost as well. So it allowed Riri Williams to be walking around in the suit at times, which was really cool.
Yeah. No, it was great.
Excellent. Final question, John?
Yes, on to episode 6, The Past is the Past. We asked the question, how many of the people in the Forbes Top 100 Rich list have made a deal with Mephisto? The answer was all 100. And for a bonus, we asked how many kings, popes, and Beatles, as in the band, have done the same. And the answer to that is 14 kings, 3 popes, and 1 Beatle called Ringo.
Yeah, finally I can say it because I couldn't say it because this was our question. Highly offensive that it would be Ringo that would sell his soul to the devil to be in the Beatles. Like, he was picked from another band. All 3 members of the Beatles that survived, other than Ringo, formed the original Beatles. They kicked out the drummer and got the best drummer that they could find, which was Ringo Starr. So he wouldn't have sold his soul. It had to have been John or Paul, because they're the ones that had the writing talent, and George that had the writing talent for songs. If Ringo had sold his soul to Mephisto, he would have had a singing voice better than the crappy one that he has on Yellow Submarine, wouldn't he?
I don't know.
Unless he has to be the best drummer.
Yeah.
But he was the best drummer before he even got into the Beatles, so he didn't sell his soul to get into the Beatles.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe that was his ultimate.
Who knows?
I think maybe he just sold his soul to live longest.
Well, maybe
that's all it was. Yeah. That's why he's still alive and going in his late 80s, mid 80s. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. I think it's just offensive that they call out Ringo specifically. They should have called out another member. That's all.
I just think it would have been fun if he had to say it was John, and then he spent years dressed up as Yoko.
Very good. What did you think of the big finale then, Chris? We can ask you now. What did you think of the arrival of Mephisto in the show? We will say to our fellow defenders, we kind of spoilt this on the first episode because John had accidentally seen on IMDb that Mephisto was going to be on the show, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, and read it out on the first podcast. I don't know whether Chris heard that or not. Did you hear that, Chris?
I may have. So, the rumours have been for a long time that he's Mephisto.
Just a bit, yeah.
Is coming. We have called out, Mephisto could be here, or coming through this, all the way back since WandaVision. I'm happy they used the character the way they did here. Am I happy with the ending? In terms, I'm happy with the battle. I'm happy with the flashback. I'm happy with the sit down in the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
The selling of the soul of Riri Williams. This bit gives me the greatest pause. A bit of the biggest part where I'm like, I'm not sure about it. And the rationale for this is we don't know when this will pay off. That is my biggest piece where I'm like, that's a great ending. It's a great way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The next time we see Riri theoretically is in Doomsday, and we're assuming it's Doomsday or maybe Secret Wars, and I don't know if you really want to get into I sold my soul to our version of the devil to bring my friend back in the middle of Battle World / Secret Wars Doomsday. So as of right now, we have no line of payoff. And I think that's just my greatest annoyance, my greatest point of pause. So it's just because we don't know where or when this might come back. So as of right now, we just see a person who theoretically shouldn't have sold her soul to the devil, sell her soul to the devil.
Interesting. I love that perspective, and I know I've been kind of thinking about this one because obviously it's the big moment from the series, and anybody who didn't watch the series and just read, the story of Mephisto coming in is kind of wondering how they fit in here. There's two reasons why I love this, as I've been thinking about it over the last couple of weeks. One, it gives this great moment for Marvel to have Mephisto arrive on the battlefield and get all of the heroes that have traded their soul to him and manipulate all of them at the same time. So it's not just Riri going, I sold my soul to save my friend. It's, I don't know, Spider-Man. This is how he got his power. It's Iron Man appearing again, or somebody, Thor, I don't know, any character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's any of them that could have sold their soul to Mephisto, and he arrives and goes, here's the 10 heroes that I gave powers to, and they sold their souls, or the 10 villains, something like that. That's a cool way to bring Mephisto back in. I really like that. And also, it really shut up all the people that have been thinking that Ironheart was just a female black version of Tony Stark. Sure. Because this story is nothing like the Tony Stark story. I love the idea that she's willing to do absolutely anything. We said it a number of times throughout the show. This is the big difference with the character. She doesn't come from privilege, doesn't have money, doesn't have support, can't break out, even with her inventions, can't break out of the trappings of just being a young student. She's willing to do absolutely anything to get there. And by the end of the series, she sells her soul to the devil because the devil tells her every single person on the top 100 of the Forbes list sold their soul. I can give you whatever you want. So I love that idea that's she's not the hero that you think she would be in the standard Marvel script.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or standard superhero script, let's say. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I really enjoyed that twist, I guess. I'm not so bothered about whether it pays off or not, because at this stage, I think Marvel is so convoluted and behind schedule, whatever it is. I mean, we've had Jonathan Majors. I mean, a whole strand has had to be pulled. Yeah. So there's no resolution at all to anything in Ant-Man. So, it's just... And, it's had to be adjusted. Mm-hmm. I think the point of it was to say that, in the same way that the Hood did it for good reasons, ultimately, in some respects. Like we said at the end of the podcast, looking in the mirror, she was more like the Hood than she thought, and vice versa.
Yeah.
From the Hood's perspective, he was maybe had as good intentions as what Riri has for, her best friend. Yeah. And why she's done this deal with the devil. That they're both sides and the same side at the same time of the same coin. Looking at one another, but thinking they're different when in fact they're quite similar, or the dividing line becomes her, paper thin.
Yeah.
So I really kind of just liked that kind of aspect to what happened.
Yeah.
I think as well, given we've got Zelma linked in with her, potentially, given we have a suit made with magic, given, I guess, the dark vibes coming off, people who have been touched by by Mephisto, then, but given that you can survive it, as we saw with the Hood, then, I think that's a great way for a Doctor Strange Mephisto movie, and for Riri to be in that with Zelma and America, effectively. So it'd be, and even maybe the Hood. Like, there's a real good collection of magical characters now that can be deployed on a storyline that fits into, I guess, this new, or this phase now of the MCU.
Yeah.
So the rumor, and this is where I'm kind of hoping they just announce it, and then I'll be extremely happy, which is there is a new version of the Midnight Suns being created for TV, where they will go after Mephisto. The Midnight Suns is, think of them, a supernatural Avengers type team.
Yeah.
And that includes everything from Man-Thing to Werewolf by Night to Ghost Rider to some of the strange, usually it's Doctor Strange, but it can include, in this case, could include some other people from the Strange Academy. They could bring in Riri there. And I think if you start saying, hey, we're going to do a limited run 6-episode show on that, I'm like, cool, because that's where it's going to pay off. Great. I think that's you bring up Jonathan Majors and all that. I think they are trying to so badly get away from drop threads now. They want to get back to everything means something.
Yeah, it's so fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Feige did a big interview with loads and loads of press just before San Diego Comic-Con, because there was no Marvel presence at San Diego Comic-Con, and he literally said the words that there is still a plan, everything's connected. You never know when it's going to come back up, but we may be seeing Harry Styles back in the MCU. It's still out there. It's still a thread that we can pick up whenever we want to. We have the opportunity to do it. So yeah. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the speculation from everybody outside. It's not that they do have a definite plan, but they don't not have a plan. There you go. So I think they may even get Jonathan Majors back to tie up that loophole, and it could be something like Doctor Doom arrives in this universe in the 616 and just destroys all versions of Kang and takes over his position in a 2-minute scene at the beginning of Doomsday. Something as simple as that, where Jonathan Majors goes, I'm really sorry, I'll do this for you guys because you didn't really, you paid me for the movies that I did, and then I reneged on my contract, basically. So whatever way. So you never know what might happen. But with that said, we do have to get back to the quiz.
Yes, I was just thinking that myself. Yes.
So if you've forgotten all the answers that we've given you since we've had a good old chat about Ironheart, they are all available over on our website at tvpodcastindustries.com. Go over there. You'll see the pub quiz section, and I'll have all the answers in there for you if you want to check any of them out. But good questions this time, John, in the 6 episodes. Well done.
Why, thank you, sir.
And we have 12 correct entries for the pub quiz.
Yes. Shall we ask our electronic tombola?
I think we should, yes.
Yes. Well, hey Google, give me a number between 0 and 12.
Here's a random number. 0.
See, I thought we tested that before, where you ask Google for a number between 0 and 12 and it never gives you 0. I thought that was why we always put 0 in there, because 0 doesn't mean anything. So we're going to do that again. Hey Google, give us a number between 1 and 12.
8.
Excellent, and we can hear that this time as well, which is good. Okay, 8. Who's number 8, John?
Excellent stuff. Yes, congratulations to Adam Downing for getting the correct answers, and of course being pulled from our e-tombola.
Exactly.
Well done, Adam, and also to all our other fellow quizzers and Defenders for joining the MIT Student Bar Quiz for this series of Ironheart. Let us hope there will be another.
Yes, absolutely. A huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon who've been supporting us. That support goes into our pub quizzes, so that's the only reason we're able to do them. So thanks to everybody for taking part. Hope you enjoyed doing that. Adam will be getting an Ironheart action figure and some Ironheart comics.
Excellent stuff indeed. Again, congratulations, Adam. And also, thank you so much again to all our quizzes for their entries and for those providing the correct ones and in with a shout for the goodies.
Absolutely. I'll reach out to Adam and get his address and get your wonderful goodies out to you as soon as I can. Thanks, Adam. And thanks, everybody.
With that said and done, I think it's time to leave the pub and maybe get some final feedback from our friends and fellow defenders. So first up, we have an email from Keith Murray, who had this to say. Again, thanks for all the amazing work. I'm loving the podcast. I really liked the Ironheart show, despite at the start having my doubts, just because of the release schedule. The show did feel like a long movie that had been separated into episodes, but I think the release schedule actually helped feel it less chopped up. There were so many brilliant characters from the show. The Hood, Mephisto, Natalie, Riri, Zelma, and Joe. But I don't know if there will be any follow-up with them, especially considering the restructuring of the shows. There's so many loose threads and no sign of projects to incorporate them into. I love the tech magic crossover and the links with Joe back to the Iron Man movies. Mephisto was so good, really living up to the trickster devil image. Riri really reminded me of Ellie from The Last of Us, the teenage girl who lost her father figure that isn't a good guy and makes very questionable decisions. Mm-hmm. I really like how some of the younger, newer characters don't necessarily want to be superheroes. Jennifer Walters, the She-Hulk, said the same too. All the best, Keith Murray. Thanks, Keith. I do actually like that. Yeah, the next generation are not your goody two shoes Boy Scout like Captain America. Some of them are just kind of want to take the mantle but don't know how to handle the shield, or some like it's not your mum and dad's Iron Man type that thing. Yeah, and that's fun. It's a new take. It's a new character. I always give the example of one of the best Spider-Man at the moment is Miles Morales, and that run in the original Ultimate Universe was some of the best Spider-Man stories ever, and that's why Miles Morales is the big hit he is now. So seeing these new characters come up, they don't always need to have a new name. They can be Ironheart. Ironheart was Iron Man for a while. She did take on that mantle. Right. So yeah, I'm always happy to see these new takes, and I do like the tech crossover magic in this show.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'd love to have seen so much more of it, but it was a nice touch in the last episode as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, loved the tech and magic crossover as well, Keith. I'm really glad that it kind of you warmed into this show. That's I think a really positive sign. I think for a property. I mean, I was the same. I mean, I think I said at the start of the year, I just had no thoughts on what this would be. I didn't really necessarily gel with the character in the second Black Panther movie. Fine, I didn't have a problem, just hadn't necessarily really kind of connected in that way. I guess I was more kind of, I think the second Black Panther movie, my focus was more on Tolokan and Namor and so on, and that
when we weren't bawling our eyes out in the cinema at the opening 15 minutes of the saying goodbye to the original Black Panther, like that was very emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I listened back to our podcast about it, and we were very emotional.
Yeah, exactly. So, really glad you enjoyed this. And I mean, hopefully, I think there are some crossovers and points of entry to keep some of these characters, active and live in a sense, you know. It is a shame about the sort of post-credit scene that wasn't included, just because it's kind of been put on hold until it's released for so long. I guess that's a combination of many different factors, and that has impacted on the Marvel slate. And yeah, it's interesting you're saying that Riri reminds you of Ellie from The Last of Us, because you know, we covered The Last of Us as well. The second series, well, first and second series we've covered. And I think you're right. And I think, as to Chris's point as well, it's these, you know, younger heroes. And it's like with Spider-Man, you know, with great powers comes great responsibility. But in this case, maybe it's just, you know, there's too much going on, and it's like they don't necessarily fulfill the perfect image of how they move into that superhero status. And I think that's what's really cool with the Riri sort of taking up the deal with Mephisto, is that it's questionable judgment, arguably. It's the decisions being made from a different perspective that maybe don't hold up. You know, equally that could apply to an adult, but, you know, Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? It's just that different phase of their life, and it produces a different superhero rather than the perfect 1960s Spider-Man in that sense. But equally, that was always the good thing about Spider-Man, was that he was going through those problems to find out how to be that perfect superhero. So it was just really well done.
He might stop the bank robber, or he might stop someone that's stealing some money off somebody, but he still has to pay his bills. And he has to find out a way to get a job and that kind of stuff.
And I think that's the case with Riri as well. You know,
it was so funny seeing the idiot bros who clearly had only seen the trailer for this and kept quoting, "Oh, she's trying to be Tony Stark." You see in the trailer where she keeps saying, "I want to build something iconic," when actually, when you watch the episode, if you break it down, what Riri actually wants is to get her inventions out there and then get enough money to move off to an island where she lives on her own and continues inventing stuff. That's literally what she says in the episode. She doesn't want to be Tony Stark. She doesn't want to be the leader of the Avengers. She doesn't want to build a suit of armor around the planet. Well, unless she gets paid for building a suit of armor to go around the planet, right? She doesn't have those high aspirations. Her highest aspiration is she wants to get her inventions out there and wants to be treated like someone with the intelligence of Tony Stark without coming up the way he did. So I just have had a lot of fun reading those kind of comments from the bros who think they know everything, despite actually not watching the series. But great stuff. Thanks so much for your thoughts there, Keith.
Yeah, thanks so much, Keith.
Thanks, Keith. Next up, we also have an email in from Adam Downing, who had this to say: "I knew Mephisto was going to be in the show, but I honestly thought it would never happen, being that he's been rumoured since WandaVision. But now it makes me want to know who else in the MCU movies and shows he's made deals with."
Absolutely.
I think nerd trivia throughout the ages will go down. Like, you're going to find out. They can use it as literally a MacGuffin if they need to now, escape. But they can also use it as, do you know what? Like, they'll take down Mephisto and then suddenly 8 random actors who no longer want to be in the MCU are depowered and no longer important because that's your way of getting rid of it. They actually had made deals with Mephisto.
Something like that'd be a really interesting one. Like, you know, really, is every single arrow that Hawkeye shoots, is it always a homing arrow, or did he make a deal with the devil to be that amazing at firing every single arrow he fires? Does it go all the way back to the first Avengers movie? You know, something like that. That could be really interesting. I'm not saying that I want Clint Barton to be depowered and taken out of the MCU.
No, he's always been evil, though.
He was only evil when he was under Loki's control, John. It's only that moment. He was a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
He was.
You know.
That is true. Also evil. Could have actually been Hydra. He's still undercover.
No, he wasn't Hydra. He was never Hydra. Excellent stuff. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, thanks so much, Adam.
We also have an email in from Coffee and Vodka who says, "Greetings, fellow quizzical defenders. Hope all's well. Rewatched episode 6 a couple of times, and yes, the possibilities for a second season are endless. Perhaps Mephisto attempting to mould Ironheart into Blackheart. Ooh, I can dream. A bit contrived in places, but saved with heart, humour, action, and cinematic level effects. My favourite line of the series has to be, I spent my whole life trying not to become Obadiah Stane, just to find myself right where he left off, taking down an iron freak. It was fun taking this watching journey with you. Peace and take care. Coffee and vodka.
Excellent stuff. Coffee and vodka. Yes, I do like that, actually.
Yeah, it's a good line.
The line is great, but also the moulding of Riri's Ironheart into Blackheart, or Mephisto attempting to mould Ironheart into then Blackheart. That could be really interesting. I like that. Yeah. Like that a lot.
There's just lots of options, and there is definitely a second season that could be out of all of the possibilities at the end of this season. They could easily make a second season. They probably could have gotten another 4 or 5 episodes out of the all the characters and all the things that were going on in this season. Even if they just wanted to make an extended season, a 10-episode season, that would have been cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, we got, and hopefully we'll see more of these characters in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Coffee and Vodka.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Coffee and Vodka, and thanks for all of your feedback throughout the season. It's been great having you along with us on the journey as well.
Yes.
And also, our last email is in from Heather Wallace, who says, I hope you enjoyed your holiday. Yes, thank you so much, Heather. We really did enjoy the hols.
Good old Porto.
Yeah.
Great fun. Yeah.
And Heather continues, and Jess, I very much remember the movie Heathers. While it might be the beginning of showing Heathers in a bad light, I love the movie. Now onto the show. I really liked the last 3 episodes. I'm disappointed by all the hate I've seen the show get. It isn't deserved at all. I just think some people didn't give it a chance. I do wish it had been fleshed out a bit and had maybe a few more episodes, or at least stretched out over 6 weeks instead of all bundled up into 2. I think they could have added more backstory without it feeling like filler. I hope we see more of all the characters in the future, especially Zelma. What a great character. I saw a post on Facebook that said the actress that played Zelma was hoping for a Strange Academy show. I would absolutely watch that. I can't forget to talk about how finally we got Mephisto. In the first watch of the episode, I was a little disappointed. However, after a rewatch, I liked the character more. And was I the only one yelling, Riri, no? A la White Lotus. Was I the only one yelling, Riri, no, when it was flashing between Mephisto offering her whatever she wanted and her seeing Natalie again? I mean, I love Natalie and want Riri to have her friend back, but this wasn't the way I wanted it for her. She is already getting the same marks as Parker. Again, I have to say, I hope we see more of these characters. I saw that Ironheart might not get a second season, which I hope isn't true. For now, on to the next Marvel project. Fantastic Four, First Steps. I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie this weekend. Till next time, Heather. Great stuff, Heather. I'm really pleased you liked Zelma, and like yourself, I would be properly stoked if they had a Strange Academy show. I remember picking up the first comic going, how will this work? And I absolutely just loved it. I really enjoyed just all the different characters there. One sort of riffing off their fathers, like a young Dormammu.
That's right, the son of Dormammu.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
But I mean, others, but other new characters, having Zelma in there, having Brother Voodoo, it being in New Orleans. So I just think it could be a really atmospheric show if they set it in New Orleans. Yeah. And they've got all these characters. It would be so good. So I'd totally love to watch that.
Yeah, I saw the interview with the actress as well, and she is such a fan of that idea of getting Strange Academy kicked off. It's really cool. She's so excited about it. Very cool, and what a great role. It'd be really cool. We just saw Wednesday just got released this week. That's a show set in an academy with a slight dark twist on it. It's massively popular on Netflix. All filmed in Ireland too for the second season, which is quite cool. But that's the kind of style that you'd love to see Marvel take, right? A kids show set in that kind of darker side of the MCU, all about magic. Hey, why not?
Exactly. No, I hope they do. I hope we see these characters again. And I have to say though, it is good to say on to the next Marvel project. Fantastic Four was fantastic. And,
excellent. Yes.
they are now filming Spider-Man in Glasgow. Brand new day, which is ironically was from a comic book where they had just started after he had made a deal with Mephisto.
There you go.
So,
yep.
All the connections.
That's right. So maybe we will see Mephisto appearing in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Hell, everybody else is appearing in there. We just got confirmation that Mark Ruffalo is going to be appearing back in there as the Incredible Hulk once again, which will be really interesting to see. We know that John Bernthal is going to be in there as the Punisher.
Yep.
It's going to be much more street level. We may get some of the characters from the other Spider-Man movies, but that's actually not confirmed. Lots of people reporting that we'll definitely see Zendaya in there, but that's not confirmed yet. But we do know that a lot of practical shots are in there. Destin Daniel Cretton is the director of this one, who did the wonderful Shang-Chi movies, and he's going for a very different style of Spider-Man than the CGI Spider-Man that we've seen for the first 3 movies. So it's all looking really interesting. And also that really odd one where this is the next movie in the MCU after Fantastic Four, and it shouldn't have been. It should have been Doomsday in between the two, but now we've got Spider-Man leading into Doomsday.
Yep.
Odd idea, but very interesting.
Definitely weird. And the Zendaya piece is coming from the fact that she's in Glasgow, but they had to come out, I think it was last night or today, to go, no, she's just there to support Tom because they're still a couple and she just didn't want to leave him for months while he filmed in Glasgow. So she's there, she's not filming. And they had to actually officially come out and say that.
Exactly. She may be in it. She absolutely could be. Yeah. There's no reason why she wouldn't be. But the last story left it that she could walk away, and Jacob Batalon doesn't have to be in this movie either. The two of them could be excised from the story. That's how it ended. But thanks very much, Heather, for your feedback.
Yes.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
But you bring up a great point in there as well, Chris, and Heather. Fantastic Four First Steps, our review of that is up and available on TV Podcast Industries as well. But Chris, what did you think of that one as well? We haven't heard your thoughts about that other than the word fantastic.
It was fantastic. It was a breath of fresh air. This summer, between Fantastic Four First Steps and Superman, we've seen a kind of resurgence of the old, what I want to call that old Silver Age kind of comic book film, where it is bright poppy colors, everything is, there's a hope to it. Whereas like, and I enjoyed the Snyderverse, but everything, the Snyderverse and that old DC was very dark. This new Superman or Fantastic Four First Steps have all been very, not brighter. They have a more comedic element. There's a levity and tone to it. And that really shone in Fantastic Four. The aesthetic that has come out across, like that world of 828, just being that kind of retro futuristic 60s, everyone having hope, and even to the point where everyone had hope turned to Mr. Fantastic, and you see it crushes him to say he doesn't know. The big turning point was when he doesn't have an answer and he is out of hope, but then taking this idea and moving it forward, where it just takes the family dynamic to bring that idea back, to bring the save the world. And hope is a strong thing. In a movie, in a book, in a show, when you can give not just the audience but the characters hope, it kind of drives the story very well.
Absolutely. And I think we're in a time when we need that as well. I know we kind of mentioned it, the big moment for Captain America is punching old Adolf in the jaw, and I think we kind of need a superhero like that now. We don't need a superhero that's drowning and wallowing in their pain and fears and all that kind of stuff. We kind of need a bit of hope there. We haven't seen Superman yet. We still haven't gone to the cinema to see that, unfortunately. So our bit of hope came from Fantastic Four. Really enjoyed it. I'm glad you did too, Chris, as well.
It was absolutely fantastic. It really, really
bit of fun in the cinema. And thanks for keeping that spoiler free, because I forgot to say that there might be spoilers for Fantastic Four before you started talking, so I'm glad you kept it spoiler free.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good at that now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris, for your Fantastic Four thoughts. Really good. that is the end of our wrap up and feedback, as well as the pub quiz from Ironheart. A big thanks to everyone who sent in their feedback over the course of Ironheart. And of course, just as a little heads up, fellow defenders, we have recorded our last episode of Eyes of Wakanda, the 4-episode series looking at the war dogs from Wakanda over time and in unusual situations. So they are currently being released on the Defenders podcast. We also have our Fantastic Four movie review, as well as then we'll be back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Marvel Zombies in October, another animation, as well as Wonder Man in December this year, which is another one that I'm not entirely sure about. So I'm really kind of on the back of Ironheart. I'm really quite excited to see how Wonder Man works its wonder and magic.
I think genuinely, as soon as I saw that Trevor Slattery's going to be in it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in for a fun Christmas time type series. It should be a bit of a laugh.
Trevor Slattery brings me hope.
Exactly. But it should be good fun. And just to mention, if you did enjoy Ironheart and haven't watched Eyes of Wakanda, remember it's also from executive producer Ryan Coogler. So
that's true.
He's making big waves in the MCU. I love the calls from loads of people because of all the love that's out there for his Black Panther movies, for Ironheart, and for Eyes of Wakanda. They're calling for him to just be given the keys to the kingdom. So, hey, why not? Sinners was amazing. Let's see what he could do. But at least he should have a seat at the table, definitely.
Absolutely.
And if you are a fan of Fat Man Beyond, Kevin Smith and all that, Mark Bernardin, well known to us for also working in the writer's room in Star Trek Picard. He wrote 2 episodes of Eyes of Wakanda and was in the writer's room in there as well. So
that's right.
Absolutely fantastic stuff coming out of him, and supposedly more, but he can't talk about it.
Excellent. Yes, he wrote episode 2 and 3, which we've just released on the feed on TV Podcast Industries. So hopefully we'll see you over there. But if we don't, John, what's coming up for us as a team?
Well, that is it. Next up for us, we have a brand new show on Disney Plus, and we will be discussing Alien Earth from August 13th. Wear your adult diapers, everyone, because it is the Scaryville of Alien Earth, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Absolutely. We can say myself and John have watched the first episode so far, and it is really good. It's a great setup for the series.
It certainly is.
Yeah, we were on the edge of our
very
seat at some
good
points of that. Yeah, really
so
good.
The first 2 episodes will be out on August the 13th, and we will be looking to record on Thursday nights together, and then it will be weekly after those first 2 episodes.
That's it. Yep, you're joining us for that, and Chris, hopefully.
I will be, fingers crossed. And for those who have time, check out Alien Romulus on all good streaming places and rentable places, as people are saying, it's good to kind of catch up to the aesthetic of what they're kind of doing now.
Yes, that is true, actually. And Alien Romulus was a really good little movie.
Really good. Yeah, I loved that.
It was, yeah.
Superb.
Yeah, I think that takes place about 12 years before Alien.
Yeah.
I think. And Alien Earth takes place 2 years before the original Alien movie from the 70s. So definitely the aesthetic and that kind of stuff is very similar. But as we're on Earth, and it's being directed by Noah Hawley, who gave us Legion and gave us Fargo as well. Yeah. This is going to be a fun and interesting series. Well, I say fun. If you like dark things, it'll be fun.
Well, I do and I don't. That's the beauty of sort of these kinds of property for me. I'll both be cowering behind the cushion on the settee and be dying to sort of peek my head out to watch whatever monstrosity is happening.
It's great fun. The amount of times I've put on a trailer for a horror movie I want to go and see in the cinema, and John's like, we'll wait until it gets home. That looks too scary to be in the cinema, and scream out loud and embarrass myself. So we've had to wait for a few horror movies, but they've been great at home.
Absolutely. Yeah, really good. And of course, fellow defenders, we would love to get your thoughts on the episodes of Alien Earth as they get released. So remember, you can send in the feedback to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com. You can subscribe to the podcast over on tvpodcastindustries.com and join our Facebook group over on facebook.com/groups/TV Podcast Industries, where we'll have our spoiler posts for Alien Earth, as well as all the Marvel shows coming up in the second half of this year.
Absolutely. I did say earlier on a big thank you to everyone over on Patreon who's been supporting us over the last 8-9 years now at this stage. Thanks so much for all your support. It allows us to do things like the pub quiz because of the wonderful goodies that we get to send out to our awesome listeners. So thanks so much for your support. And just to mention, over on Patreon now, you do get access to all of the episodes that we released. I've now been able to sync it up. So your Patreon feed for the podcast will now have all episodes of the shows that we release in there as well.
Nice.
Good stuff.
So thanks so much to everybody, and thanks to everybody for joining us for this episode. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I'll speak to you really soon, in literally like 2 weeks.
Or if you're waiting on all the other podcasts that we've recorded, we've got 3 more episodes of Sandman coming out in the next week. We've got the final episode of Eyes of Wakanda coming out this week. We've still got another 4 episodes of Sandman to record as well. So lots of stuff still in the bag to be released soon.
For sure. But yes, fellow Defenders, thank you so much for joining us for this wrap-up episode of Ironheart. Until next time, keep watching, keep listening, and of course, keep defending.
Bye.
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 Great
Fantastic.
stuff. Answers on the back of the car. No. Answers are all
back of a
together.
car?
I was going to say on the back of a postcard.
I thought you said back of a car.
Yeah. No, you can. If you
Send
want
us
to,
the
if you
car.
want to send us
Here's
a
our
car
address.
on the back of the truck, yeah, it's fine.